Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our reading through the Tanak night. The February 4th, 2026. Okay, we'll be reading out of the book of 1 Samuel. We'll be reading chapters 1 through 5. We're gonna read each chapter and break it down. We'll be reading our 5 chapters for the week. Okay, go to our YouTube channel, the Prophets of Awakening. Check out our videos. We have over 1,000 or so videos that you can look at, examine, get the meat out. Okay, we are every Wednesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. Central Time for our prophets, for our reading through the Tanak. Okay, this channel was created to aid and assist all Hebrews who are waking up in these last days to their true identity and understanding who their Savior and their Redeemer truly is. And for those that don't know, this is a non-Messianic channel. We deal with the Tanak and the Torah. Tanakh being the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance. And the Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses by our Savior and our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts. Okay, shalom and welcome to this channel. Welcome to our reading through the Tanak night. Okay, we're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence, prayer, Psalms. We have some current events, so we have some need to know information. We'll open it up for anybody with questions, comments, any dialogue, and then we'll go into our topic for discussion. I'll be shining a light on going a little further with this third temple situation. We're going to shine a light on that. Okay, and then our scripture reading will be, like I said, out of 1 Samuel, the book of 1 Samuel. We'll be reading chapters 1 through 5. We're going to read each chapter and break it down. Then we'll pick the scripture and break that down before we close out. Okay. Shalom and welcome to this channel. Okay. We're doing our moment of silence. Oh Lord, we thank you for your great mercy and your great power and your wisdom, and we tarry, waiting for your powerful deliverance of your people Israel. We come this day doubtless that you will appear and that you will gather your nation from among these wicked Gentiles. Okay. Oh Lord, you spoke through your prophet Isaiah and you said that you would help us, Abraham's seed, that you are scattered. You have completed your promise as of this day. And you said, oh Lord, that you would remove the darkness from around us. Tarry not, O Lord, for the latter days are here, and we are waiting and watching for you. Peace be unto you. Okay. Read the Psalms right quick. Okay. Okay, I'll read Psalm 33. It's praise to the Lord for his creation. Okay. Rejoice in the Lord. O ye righteous, praise his company for the upright. Praise the Lord with the harp. Sing unto him with the pastry and an instrument of 10 strings. Sing unto him a new song. Play skillfully with a loud noise. For the word of the Lord is right, and all his works are done in truth. He loveth righteousness and judgment. The earth is full of the goodness of the Lord. By the word of the Lord were the heavens made, and all the host of them by the breath of his mouth. He gathered the waters of the sea together as a heap. He laid up the depth in the storehouses. Let all the earth fear the Lord, and let all the inhabitants of the world stand in awe of him. For he spake, and it was done. He commanded, and it stood fast. The Lord bringeth the counsel of the heathen to naught. He maketh the devices of the people of none effect. The counsel of the Lord standeth forever. The thoughts of his heart to all generations. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, and the people whom he hath chosen for his own inheritance. The Lord looketh from heaven, he beholdeth all the sons of men. From the place of his habitation, he looketh upon all the inhabitants of the earth. He fashioneth their hearts alike. He considereth all their works. There was no king save by the multitude of the host. A mighty man is not delivered by much strength. A horse is a vain thing for safety, neither shall he deliver any by his great strength. And behold, the eye of the Lord is upon them that fear him, upon them that hope in his mercy, to deliver their soul from death, and to keep them alive in famine. Our soul waiteth for the Lord. He is our help and our shield. For our heart shall rejoice in him, because we are trusted in his holy name. Let thy mercy, O Lord, be upon us, according to as we hope in thee. Okay, that was Psalms 33. Praise to the Lord and for his creation. Okay. So with that being said, we're gonna move on to our current events. We'll play them as we go. Okay, if nobody haven't heard, we know that
Sisters in Africa.
Gaddafi's son was assassinated, murdered.
Harlem, in the islands of Jamaica, and across the deep waters of the Caribbean. I hear you, I see you. You are watching the news today, and you are feeling that familiar coldness in your chest. In the town of Zintan, the last hope of a sovereign Libya, Saif al-Islam Gaddafi, was silenced. They didn't just kill a man, they tried to kill a bloodline. You know this story. You've seen it in your own streets. Whenever a leader stands up for the dignity of our people, the shadows move. They say he was killed by unidentified gunmen. But we know the gunmen are just the fingers. We need to look at the hand that pulls the strings. They took his father in 2011, and they waited 15 years to finish the job. Why now? Because they see the Sahel waking up. They see Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger standing as one. They see you, the diaspora, starting to look back at the motherland not as a place of poverty, but as a place of power. This isn't just a Libyan tragedy. It is a global warning. They are showing us the price of defiance. But I am standing here to tell you, the price of silence is much higher. Africa is no longer a playground for their games. The lions are awake, and we are not going back into the cage. They call it instability. They call it civil war. But you and I know the truth. It is a business model. Look at what they did to Libya. Before 2011, Libya was a vision of what Africa could be. Free healthcare, free education, and a dream of a single African currency backed by our own gold. They didn't kill the elder Gaddafi because he was a dictator. They killed him because he wanted to break the chains of the financial masters. Now look at Saif al-Islam. He was the bridge between the old dream and the new reality. By eliminating him in 2026, they are trying to ensure that Libya remains a broken gate, a place where our resources are stolen while the people suffer. They want to make sure the fire we have started here in the Sahel does not spread to the north. To my family in the Africa, United States, and the Caribbean, you have seen this playbook before. You saw it with Fred Hampton. You saw it with Maurice Bishop. You saw it with every leader who told you that you don't need to beg for a seat at the table when you own the house. They use the same tactics in the Sahel that they use in your neighborhoods: division, infiltration, and the removal of those who dare to speak of sovereignty. But the 21st century is different. We have seen the blueprint. We know their moves before they make them. They think that by removing a leader, they remove the idea. They are wrong. The idea is now in the blood of every young African from Ouagadougou to Kingston. You ask me, Captain, are you afraid? I tell you, fear is a luxury I traded for freedom long ago. Just last month, in early January 2026, while the world was celebrating a new year, the shadows were working in the dark. We intercepted the tapes. We heard them planning to neutralize me at point-blank range or mine my very home. They had a price on my head, $125,000, funded by those who missed the old days of puppets and masters. They think I don't know who is paying the bill. They think I don't see the mercenaries gathering at the borders. But I tell them, you can kill a man, but you cannot kill the mission. When they shot Saif al-Islam in his home yesterday, they were sending a message to me. They were saying, no one is safe, not even in their own living room. But to my brothers in Chicago, my sisters in Kingston, listen carefully. They target us because we are winning. They only hunt the lions that are leading the pride. If I were still bowing to Paris or begging at the feet of the IMF, my life would be safe. But my soul would be dead. I would rather die standing for the sovereignty of the Sahel than live on my knees as a caretaker for their interests. They missed in January. They missed many times before. And as long as the people of Burkina Faso and the diaspora stand as my shield, I am not going anywhere. They tell you that Saif al-Islam was taken out by unknown gunmen. But in the world of high-level betrayal, there is no such thing as unknown. We are looking closely at the movements of the 444th Brigade and those who claim to protect Libya while they wait for orders from across the sea. Treachery is a poison that always starts from within. It is the tragedy of our history, the brother who opens the gate for the invader in exchange for a few silver coins. To my family in the West, you know the sting of the Judas factor. You've seen how they used our own people to dismantle the Black Panthers and weaken the Caribbean movements of the 70s. It is the same game. They find the ambitious, the greedy, and the fearful, and they turn them against the visionary. They used a brigade that was supposed to be the pride of Tripoli to ensure that a son of Africa would never lead his people again. But let this be a warning to those who think they can sell our future for a Western paycheck. The people are watching. In Burkina Faso, we have cleaned our house. We have removed the traitors who sat at the dinner tables of the imperialists. We know that the real battle isn't just against the foreign soldier, it is against the internal saboteur. We are building a wall of loyalty that no amount of foreign currency can break. See the Morocco alliance, they see our partnerships with the East, and they realize the security monopoly is over. We are no longer a sphere of influence. We are a center of power. Every time they try to silence a voice in Libya, 10 more voices rise up in Burkina Faso. The transition is inevitable. The sun is setting on their empire, and it is rising on our sovereignty. They think that by putting a price on my head, $125,000, $1 million, it does not matter. They can buy back the continent. They think that by sending gunmen to the homes of the sons of Gaddafi, they can scare the sons of the Sahel, to the shadows, to the mercenaries, and to the masters who sit in comfortable offices in Paris and Washington. I have one message. You are too late. You could have killed me in 2022. You could have stopped us in 2023. But now, in 2026, I am no longer just a man in a uniform. I am a heartbeat in the chest of millions. If you take my life today, you only finalize the contract of our freedom. For every Traoré you silence, 1,000 more are graduating from our academies. 1,000 more are waking up in the housing projects of the USA. And 1,000 more are organizing in the streets of the Caribbean. You cannot assassinate a flame that has already set the forest on fire. We have seen what you did to Saif al-Islam. We have seen how you tried to destabilize our neighbors. But our response is not fear. It is preparation. We are...
Okay. Any comments on that? Anybody heard about that?
Shalom, everybody.
Go ahead, Brother AJ.
Thank you. Shalom, everybody. Brother Leonard, I seen this last night when we got out of class, and it just made me think about that black winner that Torre was saying.
Exactly. Oh yeah. Let's just get started. Okay. So whatever they do, you don't supposed to be surprised. Okay. Somebody else got something?
Shalom. I'm just following AJ. I had some people send it to me, and that's how I found out. Shalom,
Okay.
everyone.
Okay, here we go.
If we were an early warning system, there would be some lights on the panel that are flashing today.
Are we one moment away from an Iranian Islamic militant scorched earth version of World War III? Here's Glenn Beck. Let's watch this clip together, then talk about it. But first, hit subscribe in the corner. We'd love to stay in touch.
So if we were an early warning system, there would be some lights on the panel that are flashing today. Some would be red, some would be yellow, and some would actually be green. So let me just go through all of these things because it matters. Not everything would be red, but panic is what you feel after you have ignored the warnings, or you didn't know that was a warning. You didn't hear about it. So let me read the panel for you honestly here. There's some red lights flashing today that you need to know, and these are not political opinions. They are historic danger signs. I've checked these back and forth with history because I'm looking at history now and saying, where are we? You know, in Rome or in France? Where are we in history? One of the biggest warning signs that I see right now is red light number one, and that would be the loss of nuance. This one is blinking really hard, and you see it in the Preddy conversation, okay? There is no nuance here. There is, you know, a healthy society can hold two ideas at the same time. An unstable society cannot do that. And right now, we're losing the ability to say somebody can be really guilty and a bad guy and mistreated. Law enforcement can be necessary, needed, doing their job, and fallible. Protests can be legitimate and infiltrated by insurrectionists. Those things are all true, but America can't see that anymore. And that's when, you know, when everything collapses into all good or all evil, there is no moral clarity anymore. That's moral laziness. Rome didn't fall when people disagreed. America has never fallen when we disagree. Rome and America will fall when disagreement becomes identity warfare. That light is bright, bright red in America. Warning sign, red light number one. Red light number two, faction over truth. Truth, you know what the name Israel means? The name Israel means to wrestle with God. Now, how could Israel be the chosen people if their name says wrestle with God? Because truth is meant to be wrestled with. It's meant to be argued about, wrestled with, thought about, argued about. Tearing it apart, tearing yourself apart at night. The only way I am who I am, the only reason why I know who I am is because I wrestled with everything in me. I tore myself apart. What is it I really believe? What is worth living for? What's worth dying for? What's worth arguing about? What's not? What's true? But now, truth is something we argue for like a team, and facts no longer persuade. All they do now is signal allegiance.
People who forget what they read before they even finish the paper.
Okay.
Interest, that's a late stage indicator. Once truth bends to faction, power then replaces persuasion every time in every civilization in all of history. And that light is flashing red. Light number three, organized disorder. Not protest. Protest is needed. Protest is important. Protest is constitutionally protected. No matter what anybody says, everyone has a right to go out and protest what ICE is doing. Everyone has a right to go out and protest what some of these judges are doing by not enforcing what some of these cities are doing, by saying you're a sanctuary city. You have a right to protest. You have a right to protest the law. You have a right, but you don't have a right to disrupt the law. You have a right to go protest the people who make the law, to get them to change the law. You have a right to go and stand peacefully and protest the cops, if that's what you want, or ICE, but you do not have the right to engage and disrupt the law. When unrest becomes coordinated, when it becomes professionally funded, strategically disruptive, and shielded by moral confusion, because there's no morality here, it's moral confusion. That's no longer a spontaneous civic expression. It's not. That is pressure being applied to the system. Rome faced this internal destabilization. It was justified as the will of the people. Red light, red light, red light, red light. Pay attention, America. Red light.
America really has a choice of which way it's going to go. There's really I can't think of another country that has that form of government with such a unique, distinct separation. So people really have choices in the United States.
You know, if I were to tell you that end time prophecies are happening right now, that would be an understatement.
And we're in the midst of it. There's no question in my mind that it's not that I believe Mashiach is coming. You have to listen very carefully. He's here.
It's not just that end time prophecies are happening. It's that we may be blind to them, and I'll explain.
We are now in that stage of the Messianic age, and it's like we're in the stage of hail. I don't know, which is the seventh plague. I'm not sure of that. The reason I said, tell the truth. In fact, anything else I share with you will be a subset of that. That God will be king of the whole world. He will be one, his name will be one, Zechariah chapter 14, Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 14. The knowledge of Hashem will cover the world as the water covers the sea, and the Gentiles will come to the Jews, and they will admit their error and their mistake.
And we really hope this storm could dissipate, and the Iranian regime will fall. The people will be free to reinstate their prince. Who?
Okay. Any comments on that? Okay. We're gonna go to. I've got something I want to show you. This this guy Tucker Carlson. He wanted us to interview some of these African presidents, but look at they. I mean, you know, if you have any kind of countenance, any kind of street sense at all, you can tell these guys countenance, and they gestures there. They don't want to be bothered with him. But check it out. This might help somebody. You know, somebody who's gonna acting like this. It's time to go. You don't need to be bothered with them. Okay. Check it out. Okay.
Gentlemen, thank you for doing this. It's awfully nice of you to do this. I'd just like to go right down the line.
That's our weekend, I think.
And first to you, President Nagawa, again, thanks. In as clear terms as you can, I wonder if you would contrast your experience with China versus the Western powers. Do you think that Zimbabwe and other African countries, to be totally blunt, get a better deal from Chinese investment than they have with Western powers over the past 150 years?
Well, my view is that initially, as we became independent, we had most of our development thrust was from the West. But as we evolved, we have also benefited from investment and cooperation from countries like China.
But the basic structure seems the same. Foreign powers extract mineral wealth from various African countries. But do you think that the arrangement that Zimbabwe and other countries currently have with China is better or worse for Zimbabwe than it was under, say, the Brits?
I think the premises upon which you construct your question, I don't think is perfect.
Not surprised.
Yes, Zimbabwe is a sovereign state.
Yes.
You understand? And we move on the basis that gives us the best results of our resources. Whether it is relation with the West or the East, what is primarily important is what we ourselves as Zimbabweans are satisfied with We don't need to please the West or please the East. We please ourselves.
Good. That seems like a good model for every sovereign country. President Bio, thank you for this. Do you think that there is a substantial difference? I'm just trying to understand from a Western perspective how the East does business in Africa versus how the West does. And it may be too sensitive a topic really even to talk about out loud, but to the extent you have a view you can share, would you?
Hello.
Okay.
My name is Adam Ferrari, the Chief Executive Officer of Phoenix Energy. I look forward to you joining us at our next
Country by country.
Yes.
Relations depend on the historical background of countries between one country and another.
Yes.
That's the basis on which relations grow
Yes.
and are nurtured. For us in Zimbabwe, yes, we are a former British colony, but we are very happy with the relations that have now developed with, say, countries like China and so on.
Yes.
Despite being a former British colony.
I think this maybe one of these topics that's too difficult to talk about in public. So let me just ask you, President Bio, about one of the strengths of your country and the continent, which is its birth rate, which so far surpasses that of any other region in the world, and that seems like a strength. How has your country, Sierra Leone, but also many other countries in Africa, been able to maintain a birth rate at replacement when Europe, the US, Canada, lots of other parts of the world have not been able to?
Thank you very much. I think we are hard workers, and we work both in the day and at night. And
that is such great advice.
It is essential to have young people and to keep the birth rate at the right level so that there is sustainability in development. What we do today, or as leaders,
the model of government around the world seems to be changing, and people seem to have lost confidence in democracy, at least in the West. People aren't quite as keen to promote democracy. Do you notice this? Do you think democracy is in retreat around the world?
I think the world is in transition.
Yes.
And normally that comes along with instability. I normally refer to it as we are in a state of flux.
Yes.
We have been told to go democratic, and those who are leading the way or who have been teaching us to be democratic are no longer committed to that method of governance. So we are left to choose, but I still believe that democracy is the best method of governance, choosing who leads, especially liberal democracy with all the freedoms that go with it, so that human rights and the and other liberties are observed and maintained. We remain committed to democracy, irrespective of the fact that there are now reversers.
Well, some of the land was seized from people who were born there. So I wonder if there's a lesson about targeting people on the basis of their skin color. Do you think? Well, people had their land seized in Zimbabwe who were born in Zimbabwe, and they were targeted on the basis of their race. And I wonder if you think that's good or bad.
No. Land did not belong to a race. It belonged to Zimbabweans. Right. So when the colonialists took land from us, time came when we asserted ourselves, take back our land. And those who wanted to have land at the same basis as the African people of Zimbabwe remained. But those who felt they were superior left.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Anybody got any comments on that? It's like, what was that whole conversation about? It making sense to me.
Shalom, Brother Leonard. I was kind of gonna ask you that too. What was the point of that panel right there?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's almost like he was doing a survey.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He asked questions and seeing what kind of feedback he's gonna get. He got all these other people watching other Western it didn't make any sense to me. And then, like I said, you see how uncomfortable the two guys was. They didn't want to deal with him.
Shalom,
That's
you're right, sir.
weird to me. Go ahead.
Yeah, it just seemed like he wanted to bait the West against the East and have him say something when he know China has all the ports therein, and that they're moving that way with weaponry and all of that kind of stuff. And so he seemed like he tried to bait the two together against each other.
Right, exactly. Ain't that something? Well, yeah. Okay, we'll open it up for some Q&A. Somebody got anything they saw over the weekend they want to talk about, or something they heard in their searching? Anybody got anything?
Yes, sir. Shalom. I heard today, back when President Obama was in office, he did the new, I think it was called the New Deal or something like that, with the weaponry with Iran, only to make a certain amount of nuclear, and it was going to be for 10 years, and it's up at 11:59 tonight. But Trump said he would go back. Iran said they'd go back to the table with it to see if they can extend it for 1 year. But one of Trump's officials said that he didn't think Trump was gonna go for that. So that's something that's getting ready to be said between 11:59 and 12 o'clock on nightly news. I imagine it'll come on. Shalom.
Okay. We'll keep an eye on that. Anybody else got anything? Questions, comments, dialogue?
Shalom, everyone. Brother Leonard, a while back, there was conversation about, I had mentioned this a couple of classes ago, those weapons that they used in Venezuela to get the president. Do we know if America plans on, not America, if Russia or Israel, not Russia, excuse me, just Israel. Do we know if Israel has those? Something like that? Or that's not really something now?
Yeah, that's where they're coming from.
Okay.
So Israel is the #1 arms dealer in the world. They're the ones making all the weapons. Everybody coming to them to get their weapons. That's the trick. That's the trick that I'm saying. Nobody understands that the whole world is going toward AI and all that. Israel is the one. They the ones the leader of the AI thing. So that's what I'm saying about the Pax Judaica. They got you looking like it's going toward China and Russia, but when they plan is when the smoke clears, Israel gonna be the next superpower. And you look at it, it makes sense because look how small Great Britain was. It wasn't number a little island, and they ruled the world for forever almost. So it's no different than what they're trying to set up now with Israel ruling the world. Good. Okay. Anybody else got anything?
Oh, shalom, Brother Leonard. I was watching this series called The Colony.
Right.
I think it originally came on USA, but anyway, in watching it, it reminds me a lot of the news clips that I'm seeing, like with ICE. You know, they running in schools, knocking over teachers, grabbing kids. That's what it reminds me of. Have you seen that show, right?
Sir? Oh, right, exactly. It's the same. It's almost you know, you actually can tie it into Civil War. The latest movie came out, the Civil War. You can see that. You can see the handmaid in that. You can see it's a lot of things that's in that. It's in a lot of other movies. It's like they're sending out these subliminal messages through these movies. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yes. Yes, sir. And that came out quite, probably like 10 years ago at this point. And
Right. And it
yeah,
seemed like
so
yesterday, like today.
it seemed just like today. Yes, sir.
Right. Yes. And another thing that people out that and they were watching those movies and the similarity in them is that, they always think it's always got an alien take to it too.
Always. So that was my thing too. How come they always have that on the show? Talk, there's always aliens abducting, or
That's part of their end time. That's what part of their end time agenda is. They're gonna make it look like it's a race of aliens come out from outer space. That's part of their end time agenda. I'm always talking about that, and like I said, it keep sounding along like little bro Pete with the asteroid. Keep on saying it's an asteroid and in the our descent, our vicinity, but actually that's part of their end time program. That asteroid gonna hit the Atlantic Ocean and cause a tsunami that's gonna flood the East Coast. And so you can say, oh, what is that? That's got to be something crazy, but it's on the money. That's the thing about it that makes you want to you got to think about that. Why would they have this on the money? You know how much money that costs to do that? It's on the money, just like the World Trade Center was on the money, and Oklahoma City bombing was on the money. So if it's on the money, it's gonna happen. And the way everything going, it's got to be right around the corner. It's also tied into what you're talking about because of what happened when you start looking at those movies. The populations then got condensed. Everybody out, they didn't crowd everybody all in together. It's like the Hunger Games. So when you go to that understanding of the so-called asteroid supposed to hit the Atlantic Ocean, it's gonna wipe out the whole East Coast. So that means everybody that survived, they got to move over to the other part of America. So that's gonna crunch everybody in. So what I'm saying, I don't know if anybody know anything about that, but keep your eyes out. Like especially with the they call it the water event. Like I said, and it's supposed to be hit New York. When you look at that last $100 bill, you Google it, and a certain way you can fold a dollar, and it shows water, 100-foot waves water coming over the buildings in New York. And also you can fold it. I think it's the $50 bill. You fold it, and it showed the Hoover Dam blowing up. Anybody ever heard of that?
Yes, sir. I've heard of both of those, the Hoover Dam one especially. I used to watch videos of people doing that. I think they call it origami, maybe.
Right.
Folding the money different ways. But yeah,
Right.
that's how I seen that about the Twin Towers.
Exactly. Yeah, it's on the money, and then and like I said, on a $100 bill, they can fold it a certain type of way, and it shows. Like I say, they keep on programming us that it's a asteroid that's in our vicinity, in our orbit, and it might hit the Earth. But what they're gonna actually do is it's an incinerator device. They're gonna use a nuclear device explode in the ocean, and then when it explodes, it cause the water to dislocate, and then when it comes back together, it's gonna cause a tsunami. Coming straight for the East Coast, Washington D.C., New York, all that area. And the crazy part about it is they already got another White House already built. Right? And like I said, these things you have to, Google them. That's the good thing about the internet. All you have to do is Google it. If it ain't making no sense, it ain't going to give you nothing. But you'd be surprised. And it's in the Ozarks, one of the highest places on the earth as far as water and elevation. Okay. Anybody else got anything? Yeah. So my topic for discussion is about this third temple. I want to shine a light on that. We've been talking about it. Play this here first. Got a couple videos.
On July 1st, 2025, in a field in Shiloh, Israel, something happened that hadn't occurred in 2,000 years. A red heifer, an animal so rare it's mentioned in ancient prophecy, was sacrificed. Religious leaders called it a sign. News outlets called it
This is another one of those subliminal messages they've been doing too with this red heifer.
Historic. But by August, the Temple Institute made an announcement that changed everything. And what's happening now in Jerusalem might be even more shocking than the sacrifice itself. Because while the world debated whether that ceremony was valid, preparations for something far bigger quietly accelerated. The question isn't if anymore, it's when. Before we go further, if you want to stay updated on what happens next with the Third Temple and biblical prophecy unfolding in real time, hit that subscribe button now. In the book of Numbers, chapter 19, God gave Moses a strange ritual, a completely red cow, no spots, no blemishes, never been yoked, had to be sacrificed and burned. Its ashes would be mixed with water to purify people before they could enter the temple. Without it, no one could approach God's presence. No red heifer, no temple service. It was that simple. But here's the problem. Finding a perfectly red heifer is almost genetically impossible.
Check this out.
Over the centuries, they became so rare that by the time the Second Temple was destroyed in 70 AD, the ritual stopped. For 2,000 years, no red heifer, no purification ceremony, no temple. Jewish tradition says 9 red heifers were used in all of history. The 10th one would signal the coming of the Messiah and the rebuilding of the temple. That's why in 2022, when a Texas rancher named Byron Stinson bred 5 red heifers and flew them to Israel,
like I said,
the world
in
took
Texas,
notice.
In Texas,
These weren't just cows. They were pieces of a prophetic puzzle. Religious Jews saw it as divine timing. Evangelical Christians saw it as a countdown to the end times. For 3 years, these heifers were watched, examined, protected. One flaw, one wrong hair color, and they'd be disqualified. But there was a problem no one saw coming. July 1st, 2025.
Check it out.
The location wasn't Jerusalem. It was Shiloh, a small town north of the city where the ancient tabernacle once stood for 369 years. Some rabbis argued this made sense. Others said it violated the rules. The controversy started before the ceremony even began.
Check it out.
Byron Stinson, the Texas rancher who brought the heifers to Israel, led the sacrifice, not a Jewish priest.
A guy from Texas with the red heifer. He the one leading it. Okay.
A Christian from Texas. That detail alone sparked heated debate across religious communities. The ceremony followed ancient instructions as closely as modern interpreters could manage. The heifer was led to an altar. Prayers were recited. The sacrifice was made. The animal was burned completely. Skin, meat, bones, everything. Cedar wood, hyssop, and scarlet thread were thrown into the fire, just like the Bible commanded. Cameras captured it all. News outlets ran headlines.
Check it out.
First red heifer sacrifice in 2,000 years. Social media exploded. Prophecy forums lit up with speculation. Some Jews celebrated it as a step toward redemption. Some Christians saw it as a prophetic sign. Muslims viewed it with deep concern, knowing what it could mean for the Temple Mount. But not everyone was celebrating. Rabbinical authorities immediately questioned the validity. Was Shiloh the right location? Does it count if a non-priest performs it? And most critically, was the heifer truly without blemish? For a few weeks, the debate raged. Scholars argued over Talmudic texts.
Check it out.
Religious leaders gave conflicting statements. Some called it a practice run. Others called it the real thing. Then, in August 2025, the Temple Institute, the organization that had been preparing for the Third Temple for decades, made an official announcement.
They made a mistake.
All 5 red heifers were disqualified.
They made a mistake.
Every single one. The ceremony in Shiloh, technically invalid. Within weeks, everything changed. The problem was simple but devastating. 2 black hairs. That's all it took. According to Jewish law, a red heifer must be completely red, not mostly red, not red with a few exceptions. Completely red. Even 2 hairs of a different color disqualify it entirely. And when the Temple Institute examined the heifer sacrificed in Shiloh, they found exactly that. 2 black hairs. But it gets worse. By August, all 5 heifers from Texas were examined and rejected. Some had discolored hairs. Others had been worked, meaning they pulled a plow or carried a burden, which also violates the requirements. What seemed like a prophetic breakthrough turned into a dead end, or so it seemed. The disqualification created a split in the religious community. Some Jews who only follow the Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible, argued the sacrifice was fine. The Torah doesn't mention the 2-hair rule. That comes from the Talmud, the rabbinical commentary written centuries later. To them, the ceremony counted. But mainstream rabbinical Judaism follows both Torah and Talmud. And by those standards, the sacrifice failed. So the search continues. Somewhere in the world, a perfectly red heifer needs to be born, raised without blemish, and brought to Israel. The odds are astronomical. It could take years, maybe decades. But while the world focused on the heifers and the disqualification debate, something bigger was happening in Jerusalem. Something that didn't require a red heifer at all. Something that's accelerating right now. Here's what most people don't know. The Temple Institute in Jerusalem hasn't been waiting around for a red heifer. For decades, they've been preparing everything else needed to rebuild the Jewish temple. And they're basically finished. Over 90 ritual items have been created. Not replicas, not props. Actual functioning sacred objects built to biblical specifications. The high priest's breastplate with 12 precious stones, the golden crown, the ephod, a special vest worn during temple service, priestly garments woven from specific materials, silver trumpets for calling assemblies, harps and lyres for Levitical musicians. Even the menorah, the 7-branched golden lampstand, has been crafted and is ready. They've built an altar designed to be assembled quickly, not theoretical, not symbolic. An actual altar that can be put together in hours. Priests from the lineage of Aaron are being trained right now. Classes on animal sacrifice, temple service protocols, ancient rituals that haven't been practiced in 2 millennia. These aren't history lessons. These are job training programs. Architectural blueprints exist.
Okay. Anybody got any comments on that so far? What you think?
Shalom, Brother Leonard. Where are these Levites coming from that they're claiming are from Aaron?
That's them Edomites. Israeli Jews. Right. Mm-hmm. You see all the drama went on with the sacrifice. So I'll let you know right there what's up. Okay, here go another one.
Shalom. Sorry. Shalom, everyone. Yes, sir. So, how did they burn them? Because they're not supposed to use fire. Fire should come from the Lord of hosts, accepting that sacrifice. So they're not supposed to have anything to do. Put the wood there, and that's it. And when the Lord of hosts agrees to it, accepts it, he places the fire under it. The fire should come. So all the sacrificing they're going to do, if they have to ignite the fire, then it's for naught, because the Lord of hosts does that.
Yeah, in some cases. But when on the feast days, the priests light out, do all that. Fire came down on Mount Carmel with Elijah. It's in certain instances that the fire would bring full fire. But on the actual ritual was the priests and Levites, especially the priests, they started the fire. Okay.
So when it was with Cain and Abel, Cain fire did not come because the Lord of hosts did not burned it, but he burned for Abel. So you're saying now that the priest has to light it, that's been anointed with the oil.
Adam lit it.
Mm-hmm.
Adam lit
right.
the fire.
Say it again.
Adam lit the fire with Cain and Abel, just like when Abraham took Isaac, Abraham lit the fire. It's just in certain situations that the Lord was shooting fire down from heaven and burning stuff up, like what he did with Sodom and Gomorrah, and what he did at Mount Carmel, and what he did in Egypt.
Okay.
Right. Anybody else? Okay, play this right here, a little bit of it. Okay.
So I have been telling you guys that I need to give you a third temple update. There has been a lot that has happened I showed you the videos before that that they sacrificed a red heifer for the first time.
So this is one of them situations where they need to go sit down. They don't even know it, but check it out.
In 2,000 years, those ashes are going to be needed for the third temple. I've shown you how they have the Ark of the Covenant. They have everything ready, like all the priestly robes, everything is done. They even, I cannot confirm it, but we have heard that it has been prefab built and that it can be put together in like 3 days or like a week, something along those lines, but it's really fast. They have the banners up in Israel with Trump on them, as well as a third temple coin that has come out with Trump on it. And they are calling him Cyrus, essentially seeing him as leading, or basically ushering in their Messiah. This is all over Israel. We've shown the videos. This is through I Am Redeemed 7, that's on TikTok. So I'm going to take you through a couple of her videos. There's a lot to unpack. There's so much going on. If you haven't seen those old videos, maybe in one big live stream, we'll just go through all the third temple stuff so that you can understand. But this is the third temple, okay? It's going to be on the Temple Mount. And once that third temple is built, who is supposed to sit in there? Well, the AC, the Antichrist, right? That is the Jewish Messiah, okay? But in the Bible is referred to the Antichrist, which we believe in our Messiah, which is Jesus Christ, if you are a Christian. So if you do not get this, okay, we're talking about end times prophecy happening right now, all around the world in different areas, all converging at once and fulfilling biblical prophecy at the same time. And this third temple is very important because everything has to be in place, because once the tribulation hits, everything in order. So you can see everything that's been happening last year and all the way up until now.
Doesn't care that Israel is about to get sovereignty over the Temple Mount, which would let them build the third temple. Nobody watched the last video that I just published with the bill that was introduced by a U.S. representative to give Israel sovereignty over the Temple Mount. This is a huge deal because right now it's illegal for Jews and Christians to pray on top of the Temple Mount, and this would give them sovereignty, which means that the third temple's coming.
What is this one? You see coming soon? Anybody ever hear that? I never heard that. I missed out on when that they gave Israel sovereignty over Temple Mount. So, yeah, so moving along a lot faster than what we thought. Okay, but this the one right here got me. I'm gonna play this then here. We'll start reading. This ought to make you wonder right here.
A man in Jerusalem is preparing for a role that hasn't existed for 2,000 years. He's been trained in rituals most people thought were lost to history. Sacred golden vessels sit ready in a workshop. 5 red cows from Texas are being watched around the clock. And according to the book of Daniel, all of this has to happen before the end times begin. But here's what nobody's talking about. The timeline Daniel predicted might have already started. And if that's true, everything changes in the next 6 months. But before we understand why this matters, you need to know what disappeared in 70 AD. In ancient Israel, one man held the most sacred role in the entire nation, the high priest. Once a year, on the Day of Atonement, he would enter the holiest room in the temple, a place so sacred that entering it wrong meant instant death. He carried the blood of a sacrifice to cover the sins of the entire nation. No one else could do this. Not the king, not the prophets, only the high priest. Then Rome destroyed the temple. The priesthood ended overnight. For nearly 2,000 years, there's been no temple, no sacrifices, and no high priest. Most people assumed it would stay that way forever. But the prophet Daniel wrote something disturbing. He said that in the last days, the sacrifices would start again, which means the priests would have to come back first. And according to Daniel chapter 9, verse 27, those sacrifices will be stopped by a world leader who commits an unthinkable act in the temple. That prophecy requires 3 things to be in place first. And right now, all 3 are being prepared in secret. An organization called the Temple Institute has been working in Jerusalem since 1987. Most people have never heard of them, but they've been doing something remarkable. They're rebuilding every single item needed for temple service. Not replicas for a museum. Actual functioning sacred vessels made exactly according to the specifications in the book of Exodus. The golden menorah, finished, weighs 95 pounds of pure gold. The altar of incense, ready. The high priest's breastplate with 12 gemstones, complete. The silver trumpets, the golden crown, the special garments woven with blue thread. All of it sits in storage right now, waiting. But recreating objects is one thing. Recreating a priesthood is something else entirely. The priests of Israel had to come from one specific family line, the descendants of Aaron, Moses' brother. For 2,000 years, Jewish families kept records of their lineage, and the Temple Institute found them, men who can trace their ancestry directly back to the tribe of Levi. These men have been training, learning the ancient rituals from historical texts, practicing the exact movements required for sacrifice, studying the laws of ritual purity that most rabbis haven't thought about in centuries. And according to multiple sources close to the Temple Institute, one man has been selected. His name hasn't been made public to avoid political backlash. But he's been trained in everything, including the Day of Atonement ceremony that only the high priest can perform. This isn't theoretical preparation. This is operational readiness. Rabbi Yisrael Ariel, founder of the Temple Institute, has stated publicly that everything is prepared. The vessels are done. The priests are trained. They're not waiting on construction. They're not waiting on permission. If what you're hearing right now is making you rethink everything you thought you knew about Bible prophecy, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Significant this moment in history really is you're not alone. Thousands of people are following these developments closely. Tap that subscribe button and join a community that's watching prophecy unfold in real time. You'll want to be part of the conversation when the next piece falls into play, a fear structure. The only way Daniel's prophecy makes sense is if it's still future, which means everything happening right now in Jerusalem isn't coincidence. Jesus told us in Matthew chapter 24.
Okay. Any comments on that? So they already got a high priest sitting there waiting. Ain't that something? So they all
Shalom.
let you know something.
Yes, sir. Excuse me. It just all sounds just really crazy. And I'm gonna use that word because none of it is real. You know, none of it equates to what is supposed to happen. And that is just crazy. They just doing all of this and it's political, you know. All of it is political. And that lady's talking about something about Trump having his name on a coin. I mean his face on a coin. What is
Yeah,
that all about? See, that just don't add up. That's crazy. Talking about the Antichrist gonna be in there and all of that. That's just really crazy.
okay.
Shalom.
Anybody else?
Yeah, shalom, brother Leonard. Where they just got the timeline off too. To add to that, just where they even mentioned, Trump supposed to be Cyrus.
Right,
Cyrus already
exactly.
right.
Right. That's
During
why they
Zerubbabel
got
time.
him on the coin. That's why they had him on the coin. Right.
Okay.
You know, and because he moved Jerusalem from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. He moved the capital from Tel Aviv to, in his first administration. So and because of that, they're trying to say that he's Cyrus, which we know, like this guy just went. He just went to Daniel 9:27. That's the Antioch Epiphanes. Ain't nobody coming to destroy no temple. He already did that. Antioch Epiphanes did it. That's the crazy part about it. Anybody else got anything on that?
So I'm just going to add to like they're doing this temple like Hera did, saying they making it authentic. They're not making it authentic because they don't have the authentic stuff to make it that way. And,
Exactly.
and so, and then they're not even doing it, can put a stage up in a couple of hours. Then the lady said 3 days, it's just, again, it's a bunch of confusion.
Exactly. How they gonna make? They're dealing with the Creator and make a burnt sacrifice. Then come back and say it was the wrong sacrifice. That's where the joke come in at right there. So yeah, okay. So what we're gonna do is we in First Samuel, book of First Samuel. We're gonna read 5 chapters. Our first chapter. You're gonna read the first chapter. Anidra. Like, can y'all
Shalom.
hear?
Yes, shalom.
Okay.
1 Samuel chapter 1. Now there was a certain man of Ramathaim Zophim of Mount Ephraim, and his name was Elkanah, the son of Jeroham, the son of Elihu, the son of Tohu, the son of Zuph, an Ephratite. And he had 2 wives. The name of one was Hannah, and the name of the other Peninnah. And Peninnah had children, but Hannah had no children. And this man went up out of his city yearly to worship and to sacrifice unto the Lord of hosts in Shiloh. And the 2 sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, the priests of the Lord, were there. And when the time was that Elkanah offered, he gave to Peninnah his wife and to all her sons and her daughters portions. But unto Hannah he gave a worthy portion, for he loved Hannah, but the Lord had shut up her womb. And her adversary also provoked her sore for to make her fret, because the Lord had shut up her womb. And as he did so year by year, when she went up to the house of the Lord, so she provoked her. Therefore she wept and did not eat. But when Elkanah, her husband, to her, Hannah, then said Elkanah, her husband, to her, Hannah, why weepest thou? And why eatest thou not? And why is thy heart grieved? Am not I better to thee than 10 sons? So Hannah rose up after they had eaten in Shiloh, and after they had drunk. Now Eli the priest sat upon a seat by a post of the temple of the Lord. And she was in bitterness of soul, and prayed unto the Lord, and wept sore. And she vowed a vow, and said, O Lord of hosts, if thou wilt indeed look on the affliction of thine handmaid, and remember me, and not forget thine handmaid, but wilt give unto thine handmaid a man child, then I will give him unto the Lord all the days of his life, and there shall no razor come upon his head. And it came to pass, as she continued praying before the Lord, that Eli marked her mouth. Now Hannah, she spake in her heart, only her lips moved, but her voice was not heard. Therefore Eli thought she had been drunken. And Eli said unto her, How long wilt thou be drunken? Put away thy wine from thee. And Hannah answered and said, No, my Lord, I am a woman of a sorrowful spirit. I have drunk neither wine nor strong drink, but have poured out my soul before the Lord. Count not thine handmaid for a daughter of Belial, for out of the abundance of my complaint and grief have I spoken hitherto. Then Eli answered and said, Go in peace, and the God of Israel grant thee thy petition that thou hast asked of him. And she said, Let thine handmaid find grace in thy sight. So the woman went her way and did eat, and her countenance was no more sad. And they rose up in the morning early and worshiped before the Lord, and returned and came to their house, to Ramah. And Elkanah knew Hannah his wife, and the Lord remembered her. Wherefore it came to pass, when the time was come about after Hannah had conceived, that she bare a son, and called his name Samuel, saying, Because I have asked him of the Lord. And the man Elkanah and all his house went up to offer unto the Lord the yearly sacrifice and his vow. But Hannah went not up, for she said unto her husband, I will not go up until the child be weaned, and then I will bring him that he may appear before the Lord, and there abide forever. And Elkanah her husband said unto her, Do what seemeth thee good. Tarry until thou have weaned him. Only the Lord establish his word. So the woman abode, and gave her son suck until she weaned him. And when she had weaned him, she took him up with her, with 3 bullocks, and 1 ephah of flour, and a bottle of wine, and brought him unto the house of the Lord in Shiloh. And the child was young. And they slew a bullock, and brought the child to Eli. And she said, O my Lord, as my soul liveth, my Lord, I am the woman that stood by thee here, praying unto the Lord. For this child I prayed, and the Lord hath given me my petition, which I asked of him. Therefore also I have lent him to the Lord. As long as he liveth, he shall be lent to the Lord. And he worshiped the Lord there. That was 1 Samuel chapter 1. Shalom.
Okay. Anybody got any comments on that? Yeah, the thing that stuck out to me was, like, they want us to think about, is something going wrong with drinking wine, but we see right here, she was drinking wine. Her husband was drinking wine before she went to the temple. All this, and then we saw where David had a flagon of wine when he brought the temple in. And it also justifies the situation with Noah after the water receded. He got off the boat and he planted a vineyard. Then he drank wine, but they want to put it in a light where there was something wrong with that. Well, there ain't nothing wrong. That's what the Israelites do. It's like he said, I've given you the fruit, the blood of the vine. The blood of the vine is the grapes when you crush them. So that's a misnomer right there. Okay. So we're going to read chapter 2. Joyce, you going to read that?
Shalom, yes, sir. 1 Samuel chapter 2. And Hannah prayed and said, my heart rejoiced in the Lord, my horn is exalted in the Lord. My mouth is enlarged over my enemies, because I rejoice in thy salvation. There is none holy as the Lord, for there is none beside Phinehas in one day that shall die. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped it. The paper stuck together. I'll go back. Verse 2, there is none holy as the Lord, for there is none beside thee, neither is there any rock like our God. Talk no more so exceeding proudly. Let not arrogancy come out of your mouth, for the Lord is a God of knowledge, and by him actions are weighed. The bows of the mighty men are broken, and they that stumbled are girded with strength. They that were full have hired out themselves, for bread, and they that were hungry ceased, so that the barren have borne 7, and she that have many children is waxed feeble. The Lord killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. The Lord maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up. Verse 8, he raiseth up the poor out of the dust and lifted up the beggar from the dunghill, to set them among princes and to make them inherit the throne of glory. For the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and he hath set the world upon them. He will keep the feet of his saints, and the wicked shall be silent in darkness, for by strength shall no man prevail. The adversaries of the Lord shall be broken to pieces. Out of heaven shall he thunder upon them. The Lord shall judge the ends of the earth, and he shall give strength unto his kings, and exalt the horn of his anointed. And Elkahan went to Ramah to his house, and the child did minister unto the Lord before Eli the priest. Now the sons of Eli were not of Belial, they knew not the Lord. And the priest's customs with the people was that when any man offered sacrifice, the priest's servant came while the flesh was in seething, with a flesh hook of 3 teeth in his hand, and he struck it into the pan or kettle or caldron or pot. All that the flesh hook brought up, the priest took for himself. So they did in Shiloh unto all the Israelites that came thither. Also, before they burnt the fat, the priest's servant came and said to the man that sacrificed, give flesh to roast for the priest, for he will not have sodden flesh of thee, but raw. And if any man said unto him, let them not fail to burn that fat presently, and then take as much as the soul desire, then he would answer him, nay, but thou shalt give it me now, and if not, I will take it by force. Wherefore the sin of the young men was very great before the Lord, for men abhorred the offering of the Lord. But Samuel ministered before the Lord, being a child, girded with a linen ephod. Moreover, his mother made him a little coat and brought it to him from year to year when she came up with her husband to offer the yearly sacrifice. And Eli blessed Elkanah and his wife and said, the Lord give thy seed of this woman for the loan which is lent to the Lord. And they went unto their own home. Verse 21, and the Lord visited Hannah so that she conceived and bare 3 sons and 2 daughters, and the child Samuel grew before the Lord. Now Eli was very old and heard all that his sons did unto all Israel, and how they lay with the women that assembled at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And he said unto them, why do ye such things? For I hear of your evil dealings by all this people. Nay, my sons, for it is no good report that I hear. Ye make the Lord's people to transgress. Verse 25, if one man sin against another, the judge shall judge him. But if a man sin against the Lord, who shall entreat for him? Notwithstanding, they hearkened not unto the voice of their father, because the Lord would slay them. And the child Samuel grew on and was in favor both with the Lord and also with men. And there came a man of God unto Eli and said unto him, Thus said the Lord, Did I plainly appear unto the house of thy father when thou were in Egypt in Pharaoh's house? And did I choose him out of all the tribe of Israel to be my priest, to offer upon my altar to burn incense, to wear an ephod before me? And did I give unto the house of thy father all the offerings made by fire of the children of Israel? Wherefore kick ye at my sacrifice and at my offering, which I have commanded in my habitation, and the honorest thy sons above me, to make yourselves fat with the chiefest of all the offerings of Israel, my people. Wherefore the Lord God of Israel said, I said indeed that thy house and the house of thy father shall walk before me forever. But now the Lord saith, Be it far from me, for them that honor me I will honor, and they that despise me shall be lightly esteemed. Behold, the days come that I will cut off thine arm and the arm of thy father's house, that there shall not be an old man in thine house. Verse 32, and thou shalt see an enemy in my habitation and all the wealth which God shall give Israel, and there shall not be an old man in thy house forever. And the man of thine whom I shall cut off from my altar shall be to consume thy eyes and to grieve thy heart, and all the increase of thy house shall die in the flower of their age. And this shall be a sign unto thee that shall come upon thy two sons of Harpani and Phinehas. In one day they shall die, both of them. And I will raise me up a faithful priest that shall do according to that which is mine heart in mine heart and in my mind, and I will build him a sure house, and he shall walk before my anointed forever. And it shall come to pass that everyone that is left in thy house shall come and crop to him for a piece of silver and a morsel of bread, and shall say, Put me, I pray thee, into one of the priest's offices, that I may eat a piece of bread. That was First Samuel chapter 2.
Okay, got any feedback?
A lot of his sons just really, made him shame, and he was just they did all of these things that they knew they weren't supposed to do, and even when he told them, they didn't even stop. They kept going, and then the priest came to him to tell him how bad that looked and what was going to happen to them, and that the Lord is not going to let an old man live after Eli died, that they won't live to be old. Shalom.
Okay. Yeah, so I don't know if anybody remembers, but the story with Moses, how Moses got tongue tied was when he was a little kid. He took the crown off the Pharaoh head, and
Yes,
then
sir.
so unless they wanted to kill him, so the angel of the Lord came before them and made a suggestion that they should get a hot coal and get a onyx stone and put it there and see if he grabbed the onyx stone, they're gonna kill him. But if he grab a coal and put it in his mouth, they know that he made a mistake. So an angel guided Moses' hand to go. He came amongst the men and called Moses grab it. So right here, you see the same thing right here. Right here it says in verse 28, and it says 27. And there came a man of God unto Elijah. Check it out. Now watch what he say. And there came a man of God unto Elijah, said unto him, Thus says the Lord, did I plainly appear unto, see that? Did I plainly appear unto the house of thy father when thy were in Egypt, in the Pharaoh's house? That's way back in Egypt. 28. And did I choose him out of all the tribes of Israel to be my priest, to offer upon mine altar, to burn incenses, to wear an ephod before me? And did I give unto thee, unto thy house, Aaron, thy father, all the offerings made by fire of the children of Israel? Wherefore keep ye at my sacrifices and at my offerings, which I have commanded in my habitation. Honor thy sons above me, to make yourselves fat with the chiefest of all offerings of Israel, or my people. So what he done, Levi did was Eli was he cherished his sons over the Lord of hosts. So 30 says, wherefore the Lord God of Israel saith, I said indeed that thy house and thy house and the house of thy father should walk before me forever. But now the Lord said, be it far from me. So this Aaron's house, for Eli's house. For them that honor me, I will honor, and them that despise me shall be lightly esteemed. So here you go. This is one of those things that, like I said, the scripture's going to eventually clarify itself. 31, behold, the day comes that I will cut off thine arm. See that? And the arm of thy father's house. See that? So he ain't talking about cutting his arm off. He's talking about the position he gave him. And the arm of thy father's house, and there shall not be a man in thine house. So what he talking about? Here you go. Here. This explain everything I've been saying about Isaiah 53. So we will go to Isaiah 53. Right here. Very first verse. Like I said, you already can see in Isaiah 52, 13, 14, 15, that's that priest. That's the Levites. But when you get to 53, verse 1, who have believed our see, this how we know it ain't a one man. Who have believed our report, and to whom is the arm of the Lord revealed. So here go your understanding of that right here. I just read. Then he says, and behold, the days come that I will cut off thine arm and the arm of thy father's house. These are Levites. They tell you right there who the servant is. And the arm of thy father's house. And there shall not be an old man in thine house. So there it is. Okay. You want to do chapter 3 and 4? AJ?
Shalom, yes, sir.
Anybody got any comments on that? Okay. You want to do 3 and 4?
All right, yes, sir. In first Samuel chapter 3, a call from the Lord, and the child Samuel ministered unto the Lord before Eli, and the word of the Lord was precious in those days. There was no open vision. And it came to pass at that time, when Eli was laid down in his place, and his eyes began to wax dim, that he could not see. And Eri, the lamp of God, went out in the temple of the Lord, where the ark of God was, and Samuel was laid down to sleep. And the Lord called Samuel, and he answered, Here am I. And he ran unto Eli and said, Here am I, but thou calledest me. And he said, I called not. Lie down again. And he went and lay down. And the Lord called yet again, Samuel. And Samuel arose and went to Eli and said, Here am I, for thou did call me. And he answered, I called not, my son. Lie down again. Now Samuel did not yet know the Lord, neither was the word of the Lord yet revealed unto him. And the and the Lord called Samuel again the third time, and he arose and went to Eli and said, Here am I, for thou did call me. And Eli perceived that the Lord had called the child. Therefore Eli said unto Samuel, Go lie down, and it shall be, if he call thee, that thou shalt say, Speak, Lord, for thy servant heareth. So Samuel went and lay down in his place. And the Lord came and stood and called, as at the other times, Samuel, Samuel. Then Samuel answered, Speak, for thy servant heareth. And the Lord said to Samuel, Behold, I will do a thing in Israel, at which both the ears of every one that heareth it shall tingle. In that day I will perform against Eli all things which I have spoken concerning his house. When I began, I will also make an end. For I have told him that I will judge his house forever for the iniquity which he knoweth, because his sons made themselves vile, and he restraineth them not. And therefore I have sworn unto the house of Eli that the iniquity of Eli's house shall not be purged with sacrifice, nor offering forever. And Samuel lay until morning and opened the doors of the house of the Lord. And Samuel feared to show the vision. Then Eli called Samuel and said, Samuel, my son. And he answered, Here am I. And he said, What is this thing that the Lord has said unto thee? I pray thee, hide it not from me. God do so to thee, and more also, if thou hide anything from me of all the things that he said unto thee. And Samuel told him every whit, and hid nothing from him. And he said, It is the Lord. Let him do what seemeth him good. And Samuel grew, and the Lord was with him, and did not let his words fall to the ground. And all Israel from Dan even to Beersheba knew that Samuel was established to be a prophet of the Lord. And the Lord appeared again in Shiloh. For the Lord revealed himself to Samuel in Shiloh by the word of the Lord. And Shalom, that was 1 Samuel chapter 3.
Okay, you got anything out of
that? Brother Leonard was reminding me of like when the Lord said he's in the midst.
Right.
Yeah, yes, sir, when he was calling Samuel, but he hadn't revealed himself to him yet. But he was right there, his presence was still there though.
Right. Yeah, look at the last verse. Say the Lord appeared again in Shiloh, for the Lord revealed himself to Samuel in Shiloh by the word of the Lord.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then I'm sorry. So Brother Leonard, is this why in this chapter though, like well, it's telling you that Eli's house, I guess ain't gonna have no descendants?
Yeah, that's the home. That's when the Most High took the Levites and Aaron them from among the Israelites. That's the home. And Levi is the home of Aaron. He's the son of Aaron, but he wasn't doing right. So Lord took him away, that home, and he gave it to this other guy. I think it's Samuel lineage. If it's not Samuel lineage, it was Shilak, I think is his name. So now, Eli is our own. He took that away, put another man there, which is a household. So when you understand what an own means, and you go back to Isaiah 53, that's the own of the Lord, it's not Jesus. He says, to whom is the own of the Lord revealed? That's the very first verse. So that tells you right there, it's not no one man. The Levites, priesthood, Aaron lineage. That's how we get the knowledge from. That's how we see right here with Samuel. He talked to Samuel, then Samuel come talk to the Israelites. That's how it works. That's the own. You see that?
Right, yes, sir.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then so chapter 4.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's a war with the Philistines. in the word of Samuel came to all Israel. Now Israel went out against the Philistines to battle, and pinched beside.
Yeah. So you see that right there? Just in 21 it says, the Lord appeared again in Shiloh, for the Lord revealed himself to Samuel in Shiloh by the word of the Lord. See that?
Mm-hmm.
Now you just read in verse 1, and the word of Samuel. So it
Right.
went from Lord told Samuel, Samuel went told Israelites. Go ahead.
There we go. Prophet. And the word of Samuel came to all Israel. Now Israel went out against the Philistines to battle and pitched beside Ebenezer, and the Philistines pitched in Aphek. And the Philistines put themselves in array against Israel. And when they joined battle, Israel was smitten before the Philistines, and they slew the army in the field, about 4,000 men. And when the people were coming to the camp, the elders of Israel said, wherefore hath the Lord smitten us today before the Philistines? Let us fetch the ark of the covenant of the Lord out of Shiloh unto us, that when it cometh among us, it may save us out of the hand of our enemies. So the people sent to Shiloh that they may bring from thence the ark of the covenant of the Lord of hosts, which dwelleth between the cherubims. And the two sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, were there with the ark of the covenant of God. And when the ark of the covenant of the Lord came into the camp, all Israel shouted with a great shout, so that the earth rang again. And when the Philistines heard the noise of the shout, they said, what meaneth the noise of this great shout in the camp of the Hebrews? And they understood that the ark of the Lord was come into the camp. And the Philistines were afraid. They said, God is coming to the camp. And they said, woe unto us, for there hath not been such a thing heretofore. Woe unto us! Who shall deliver us out of the hand of these mighty gods? These are the gods that smote the Egyptians with all the plagues in the wilderness. Be strong and quit yourselves like men, O ye Philistines, that you may not, O ye Philistines, that ye be not servants unto the Hebrews, as they have been to you. Quit yourselves like men and fight. And the Philistines fought, and Israel was smitten, and they fled every man into his tent. And there was a very great slaughter, for there fell of Israel 30,000 footmen. And the ark of God was taken, and the two sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas were slain. And there ran a man of Benjamin out of the army and came to Shiloh the same day with his clothes rent and with earth upon his head. And when he came, lo, Eli sat upon a seat by the wayside watching, for his heart trembled for the ark of God. And when the man came into the city and told it, all the city cried out. And when Eli heard the noise of the crying, he said, what meaneth the noise of this tumult? And the man came in hastily and told Eli. Now Eli was 98 years old, and his eyes were dim, that he could not see. And the man said unto Eli, I am he that came out of the army, and I fled today out of the army. And he said, what is there done, my son? And the messenger answered and said, Israel is fled before the Philistines, and there have been also a great slaughter among the people, and thy son and thy two sons also, Hophni and Phinehas, are dead, and the ark of the covenant is taken. The ark of God, is taken. And it came to pass when he made mention of the ark of God that he fell off the seat backward by the side of the gate. Oh wow! And his neck brake, and he died, for he was an old man and heavy, and he had judged Israel 40 years. Verse 19, and his daughter-in-law, Phinehas's wife, was with child, near to be delivered. And when she heard the tidings that the ark of God was taken, and that her father-in-law and her husband were dead, she bowed herself in travail, for her pains came upon her. And about that time of her death, the woman stood by her. And about that time of her death, the woman that stood by her said unto her, fear not, for thou hast borne a son. But she answered not, neither did she regard it. And she named the child Ichabod, saying, the glory is departed from Israel, because the ark of God was taken, and because of her father-in-law and her husband. And she said, the glory is departed from Israel, for the ark of God is taken. And shalom. That was 1 Samuel chapter 4.
Okay, you got anything on that?
Brother Lynn, I got a question about verse 8. When these mighty gods, if the Philistines were referring to the Israelites as being that, or are they referring to the Elohim?
Seven.
Okay, right.
The seven.
Okay.
Okay. So that's another witness right there.
Right.
Right. Because why would he say, woe unto us who shall deliver us out of the hands of these mighty gods? Right? So why would he say that? These are the gods, and then he go even further and say, these are the gods that smote the Egyptians with all the plagues in the wilderness. Ain't that something?
Right.
That's crazy, man. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go and check on that, do some research on this Ichabod. I know there's something big going on with that. Verse 21.
Right. Yes, sir. I never seen, I don't recall seeing that name before.
I had that name right there mixed up with the story right here. I had it, but more so the name, I had it mixed up with Saul's son. That was Lane, Jonathan's brother, or
Yes, sir.
Jonathan's son.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
It's totally different, but I'm gonna check that out when I get out of class. Right? So I'm in chapter 5, the ark among the Philistines, and the Philistines took the ark of God, brought it from Ebenezer unto Ashdod. And when the Philistines took the ark of God, they brought it into the house of Dagon and set it by Dagon. So what we have to know, what bring this to life, is Dagon is what the Pope got on. The fish god, the fish thing, the Pope got on, that's Dagon. Anybody know that? Okay, said,
I'm sorry, brother Lynn. You talk about that thing that's on the Pope's head?
Yeah, he got a fish outfit. He got a fish thing on, fish outfit on.
Mm.
Did you know that?
Yes, sir. No.
And the story behind Dagon is, like I said in the beginning, when the flood came, he said it destroyed everything on dry land. So we know the angels was all in the water. They was cohabitating with animals and fish in the water and all that. So the story goes that how Rome came into existence was a man came out of the sea. They looked like a fish, and that's how Rome got their civilization. Did you know that? Okay, so
right.
Anyway, that's the thing about Dagon. He came to them and fish god tied to the what's his name? Aquaman is supposed to be a whole nother world under the sea too. So anyway, it's saying the marine world 3 says, and when they and Ashdod arose early on the morrow, behold, Dagon was fallen upon his face to the earth before the ark of the Lord, and they took Dagon and set him in his place again. And when they arose early on the morrow morning, behold, Dagon was fallen upon his face to the ground before the ark of the Lord, and the head of Dagon and both of his palms of his hands were cut off upon the threshold. Only the stump of Dagon was left to him. Therefore, neither the priest of Dagon or any that came into Dagon's house tread on the threshold of Dagon and Ashdod unto this day. But the hand of the Lord was heavy upon them of Ashdod, and he destroyed them and smote them with emeralds, even Ashdod and the coast thereof. And the men of Ashdod saw that it was so. They said, the ark of God of Israel shall not abide with us, for his hand is sore upon us and upon Dagon our God. Okay, so they sent therefore and gathered all the lords of the Philistines unto them and said, what shall we do with the ark of God of Israel? And they answered, let the ark of God of Israel be carried about unto Gath. And they carried the ark of God of Israel about thither. And it was so that after they had carried it about, the hand of the Lord was against the city with a very great destruction. And he smote the men of the city, both small and great, and they had emerods in their secret parts. Therefore they sent the ark of God to Ekron, and it came to pass, as the ark of God came to Ekron, that the Ekronites cried out, saying, they have brought about the ark of God of Israel to us to slay us and our people. So they sent and gathered together all the lords of the Philistines and said, send away the ark of God of Israel, and let it go again to his own place, that it shall, or that it slay us not and our people, for there was a deadly destruction throughout all the city. The hand of God was very heavy there, and the men that died not were smitten with the emerald, and the children of the city went up to heaven. Okay, so yeah, so we see how powerful the ark is. So when we say emeralds, that's you know what that is, emeralds. So they got the powers. They can't go to the bathroom. That's what he was doing to all them Philistines till they finally released the ark and let it go. Took it back to Israel. Okay. So with that being said, that was we just read chapters 1 through 5 in 1 Samuel. We're gonna pick a scripture right now and we'll read that scripture. And then we'll break it down, talk about it, and close out. Anybody got a scripture they want to read?
Shalom, Brother Leonard. I'll read Micah chapter 7.
Okay.
Yes, sir, verses 18 and 19. And it says, who is a God like unto thee, that pardoneth iniquity, and passeth by the transgression of the remnant of his heritage? He retaineth not his anger forever, because he delighteth in mercy. He will turn again. He will have compassion upon us. He will subdue our iniquities, and thou will cast all their sins into the depths of the sea. Thou will perform the truth to Jacob, and the mercy to Abraham, which thou hast sworn unto our fathers from the days of old. And that was Shalom, Micah chapter 7, verses 18 and 19.
Okay, yeah. That's another precept that you can add to the arsenal, because if you go to Zechariah chapter 3, where he saw how he calls Zechariah, calls Josiah sins to go away.
Right, yes, sir.
So this is a witness right here. He says that it identifies who the Lord of hosts is. He's telling you that our God, this is what he do. And so if you go to Zechariah 3, it's an angel. You see that?
Right, sir.
So that's another weapon right there. And it's plain. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Anybody else got anything before we go?
Shalom. Yes, sir. Would that be the same for David too?
What's that?
Cause his sins to
Yeah,
go
it's
away.
all these rights.
Yes, sir.
All these rights.
Shalom. Yes, sir.
He calls. I mean, what you see right here is that he's not gonna have no son and have him beat. with no cat of nine tails. That ain't what he doing. We see what he doing in the Tanak in the Old Testament. He's causing their sins to pass away, and that's what the guy just said in that Michael 7 and 18 and 19. Said he's a God that passes by your sin, the righteous sin, and cast it into the depths of the sea. And so the precept for that is Zechariah chapter 3. When it breaks the whole thing down and show you there's an angel standing there. Joshua was standing before the angel of the Lord. And then he told the other angels, take away the dirty clothes and put a fabric on his head. And I'm going to cause their sin to go pass away from thee. So we know nobody getting beat. That's crazy. That's paganism.
Yes, sir.
Right. So everybody good?
Yes, sir.
So, all right. With that being said, I'm going to say shalom. And we have our Women's Advanced Bible Study tomorrow night. The men can come in through YouTube. So with that being said, I'm going to say shalom, shalom, and another shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom, everyone.
I highly recommend that you get this book and you read it because it's a must that you understand who God head is in the order that's in the Old Testament in Tanak, because it's not the same as in the New Testament. And when you read this and you get an understanding, then the scriptures open up and then you begin to understand. So I highly recommend that you get this book. It's the Elohim of Israel, and it's a breakdown on the word Elohim and who the God of Israel is and the Godhead.